Hola chicos, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo están? So, my name is Moises and this is your second lesson. Well, I hope you enjoyed this lesson too. Thank you. Now, please, we are going to start with our session. Our session is session 2, lesson 2. So, now, in this opportunity, we are going to work with the following contents. In grammar, we are going to work with the verb be, the affirmative and the interrogative form. Then, in the vocabulary, we're going to work with years, decades, and past events. And then, in the function, we're going to talk about past events. And also, we are going to talk about very important and famous people in the past. So our learning achievement goals are at the end of the session, the students, you will have been able to have a free conversation using the positive and the interrogative form of the verb be in the past. Do not forget that, okay? So we are going to work with questions and answers in the past. So now let's go to this area, the area of the importance of this session. Why is it important to make questions with the past of be? It's my real question. So I give you some moments so you can decide what your answers may be. Thank you. Don't forget to use the official channels of Canvas through your platform, please. Okay, chat Canvas. Okay. Well, in the majority of the cases, the importance is to give information about past events and people's lives too. So you mean things that happened in the past, famous or maybe not very famous. So that's why we are going to talk about this one. It's very important to know about expressions in the past, the use of the verb be in the past. In this way you can give information to other people. Now let's take a look at this slide. What do you see in the slide? So look at these people in the slide, and now where do you think they are from? Where are these people from? First of all, we have to talk about them a little bit. For example, in picture 1, for example, who do you see in picture 1? He's a famous person from the past, and he was American. Remember, if you don't know about too much about history, there was an American president who was assassinated, but he wasn't famous for that. He was famous because of his of the way he acted in front of other politicians in the world. This man was John F. Kennedy. And then let's see, in a moment then we are going to work with the other important people too. Well, so the question is, where was John Kennedy from? So do you remember? Maybe. Yes, very nice. He was an American president, as I told you before. I have just told you that John F. Kennedy was assassinated in the year 1963, and he was an American president in that moment. Well, now let's go to the other very famous person. Who do you recognize in this photo? And then Where do you think he's from? His name is Mao Zedong. So Mao Zedong was a politician too. Do you know where he is from? From Korea? From Taiwan? Ah, yeah, from China. Yes, can be. Yeah, it's possible. Now we are going to get the feedback after this slide. Then, the next photo. This photo is very interesting because there isn't one person. There are 4 people. Do you remember their names? Or maybe where were they from? Well, so they are, okay, nonetheless, the Beatles. The Beatles, okay, were a famous band. They were famous musicians and famous singers. They formed a band. Do you know where they're from? From the USA? It's possible. From New Zealand? From the United Kingdom? Good, that is. Okay. They were from the United Kingdom. Well, now let's talk about this one here. Mother Teresa. So Mother Teresa was a very special person. She was a religious person. And do you know where she is from? Maybe? Ah, good. From Italy? India. Ah, yeah. Very nice. Well, she wasn't exactly from India. She worked in India, but she wasn't from there. She was from, if I'm not mistaken, from Albany, I think. Albany. Oh, no, I'm mistaken. She was from Macedonia. I mean the country. Macedonia, the country. Next, this man. Do you remember him? Obviously, he is John Paul II. Pope John Paul II was a pope, obviously, but where was he from? Do you remember? Italy, Spain, Argentina. He was from, do you remember? Very good. Poland. Excellent. Yes, he was a Polish pope. No? He was the only one up to date. The next person is, do you know the name? Yes, Chabuca Granda. Chabuca Granda was, who was Chabuca Granda? Do you remember? Ah, he was Peruvian. Yes. Was she a singer? Yeah, good. Well, she wasn't exactly a singer. She was a composer. A composer is a person who writes songs. And she was famous in Peru and in the world, in Latin America and the world. Well, in the next one, we have a very well-known person. Who's he? Yes, he is famous Colombian writer Mario? No. Okay, Gabriel Garcia Marquez. Okay, famous Colombian writer. Okay, and he was also a friend of Mario Vargas Llosa. So you must remember that. Well, we have seen these very special personalities, and now we are going through the next part, because in the next part we are going to have one more personality, and this is from the science. So he was scientific. The question is this here. What was his name? What was his name? Oh yeah, Albert Einstein. Yes. Who was Albert Einstein? Do you remember? Ah, he was a scientific. Very good. Now then tell me. Was Albert Einstein his atomic bomb, because he was the creator of the atomic bomb, was his atomic bomb a good idea? Was it a good idea? Give me your opinions through the Canvas chat the Canvas. Oh yeah, well, I respect all the opinions, right, about him. Well, we're going through it and now continue. In this case, we are going to make a brief review of the past simple of the verb be. Look at this timeline. It's divided in 3 parts: the past, the present, and the future. And we are going to talk about the past. Be in the past. Be in the past has just 2 forms. What are their forms? Was and where. Was and where. So we have only 2 forms of the verb be, was and where. Well, let's remember and let's have a brief review of all this. For example, if we see this one, you say, he is tall, but he is tall in the present. Now, we move this sentence to the past, to this area of the past, and so we are going to have here that you cannot say he is tall. You have to say he was tall, because you are in the past. You are in the past. Let's going on with this session here. The next example shows us a very important thing: the positive and the negative of the verb be in the past. For example, according to the picture, you see this. He was short, right? Because it's in the past. Or maybe you say he wasn't short, wasn't. Okay, you say was, wasn't, was, wasn't. He was short. And for the man, you say he wasn't short. Short is the stature of the boy. Let's take a look to another example. Here, for example, positive and negative. You say, for example, here, so he was a police officer. But in the other slide, you see that the answer is not a police officer. You say, he wasn't a police officer. But if you say with I, this man says, I was a police officer, and then in the next number he says he wasn't a police officer, because the picture shows clearly that this person wasn't a police officer. So that's why I say he wasn't. Okay? Now let's go to the next slide. Let's talk about her. And in this example we say she. If we say she, we have to say was. Let's say, for example, she was beautiful. She was beautiful. And then you say here in the other, the contrast with this sentence is she wasn't beautiful. Notice the contrast between she was and she wasn't. I was and I wasn't. It's very important to remember the positive and the negative forms that we talk in the moment and we speak in the moment. Now, let's see more examples. Look at this picture. The car in the present. Look at the condition of the car and the condition of the car in the past. So you say in the past, it was expensive. Now in the past. Now in the present, no. you say in the past it was expensive, because the photo tells us something that is very important, right? The car is new, and now here in the present the car is broken. Now let's see another car, and in a car here we see, for example, the car, you say it wasn't expensive. Look at this car. This car looks like a Tico, and a Tico is not expensive. Okay, it is not like a Ferrari, for example. The Tico is cheap and you can pay for it. So it wasn't expensive, but you tell the sentence in the past, it wasn't. Next picture. Look at the mother. Look at the children in the present. And now look at the children in the past. And in the past you say what? You say, we were at home. We weren't at school. So the picture is clear. They say, we were at home. We weren't at school. Now let's go to another picture, and then they say, we were at home. Obviously in this picture they are alone in the past, and the sentence is positive. You say, we were at home, and they are in the area of the past. Do not forget that they are in the area of the past. Continue. Now let's see more examples now of changes here when you talk about this. For example, you say was and where. Questions with short answers. In the affirmative form, you say, for example, they were happy. But let's suppose that you want to change the form from the affirmative to the question form. In the question form, you move the verb be to first position. Yes? You don't say they were. You say in the question, were they? And the complement is okay, with no change at all. Well, if you ask this question, for example, were they happy? You have two options. Yes, they were. Oh, no, they weren't. What do you think is the correct answer according to this little picture? Were they happy? Yes, they were. Or no, they weren't. You decide. Going on this. Another example. Now the sentence is, she was busy. Another question form. You what? What do? You shift the was to first position, and you don't say she was. You say was she. And you complete the sentence saying, was she busy? And the short answer is yes, she was. Or no, she wasn't. What do you think is the correct answer for this picture? Yes, she was, or no, she wasn't. Good. Now we go to the next example, and in this example we have the use of the pronoun he. You say, for example, repeat after me. He was nervous. And now say the question, please. Was he nervous? Look at the picture. What do you think is the correct answer? Yes, he was, or no, he wasn't? Very good. The correct answer is yes, he was. Go to the next slide. And in the next slide we have the example is we were in a hurry. We were in a hurry. When you say in a hurry means estás apurado, apurada o apurados. So you say we were in a hurry. Nosotros estuvimos in a hurry, apurados. What is the question form? Repeat please. Were we in a hurry? Were we in a hurry? Good. Now what is the short answer? The correct short answer. Yes we were or no we weren't. Very good. The correct answer is yes we were. Because I see the man very preoccupied to get on time to a place. So the answer is yes we were. Next example. The dog was hungry. And then you turned this into a question form by shifting the verb be to the first position, and you say, was the dog hungry? Look at the picture, and I repeat, was the dog hungry? And you say, yes it was, or no it wasn't. Look at the picture, no food, so you say, yes it was. Repeat please. Was the dog hungry? Yes, it was. Next, okay, slide. Let's remember the time expression with was and where. They are typical and they use normally the following. Repeat it to me. Yesterday, last night, last month, last year, a week ago, a month ago, a year ago, in 1985, in the 1980s. Let's do it again. Repeat after me please. Yesterday, last night, last month, last year, a week ago, a month ago, a year ago, in 1985, in the 1980s. Okay, and now let's see the use of them in the table. But look at this table. Here you see was and where was your answers. Repeat after me. In the present, are you happy? Yes, I am. Now in the past tense, were you happy? Yes, I was. Now take a look now to the table of questions and then the corresponding answers. And were with me. Was I correct? Yes, you were. No, you weren't. Was I early? Yes, you were. No, you weren't. Were you busy just today? Yes, I was. No, I wasn't. Were you cold last night? Yes, I was. No, I wasn't. Were you and John ready? Yes, we were. No, we weren't. Were you both embarrassed? Yes, we were. No, we weren't. Were they hungry? Yes, they were. No, they weren't. Were Mike and Jack worried? Yes, they were. No, they weren't. Was he late? Again? Yes, he was. No, he wasn't. Was Steve frustrated? Yes, he was. No, he wasn't. Good. So you practice this yes no questions with your partners through Canvas chat, or send me your messages for any. Do you have any question up to this moment? You can send me your questions, please. Okay? Yes. Okay. Please. Let's continue. Look at this video and think about the question. Yes? Let's wait for it. 1, 2, and 3.
Were you good at school?
Yes, I was a very good student.
Were you good at school?
Yes, I was very good at school.
Were you good at school?
I was an average student.
Were you good at school?
Yeah, reasonably good. Yeah.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, model student, model pupil.
Were you good at school?
So-so.
Were you good at school?
So-so.
Were you good at school?
No. Were you good at school? Yes, she was. I wasn't.
Were you good at school?
Wonderful. I wasn't.
Hopeless.
Were you good at school?
Yeah, I think so.
Were you good at school?
I don't think so. Were you good at school?
Was I good at the academic side of it, or was I a good boy?
Well,
No, I was a bad boy, but I was very good at the academic side.
Were you good at school?
I was pretty good.
how about you, Regina? Were you good at school? In school?
Yeah, I was definitely an overachiever at school.
Were you good at school?
I was excellent at school. Excellent student. Unfortunately, it doesn't work the same way in business.
Were you good at school?
Yes, I was good at
Yes, he was. Yes, he's a really smart guy. He's a lawyer.
Were you good at school?
Was I good at school?
He still is. He teaches.
Were you good at school?
Yes, very good.
Woo! Were you good at school?
Yeah, just good, not very good.
Now we're ready. Now we're ready. We can say what we feel. Take my hand and understand that this is real.
Okay, so now the question is for you. Tell me, please. Were you good at school? It's a typical question that everybody has, right? Because our parents or our uncle, aunt and uncle, or maybe our grandparents usually ask us, okay, about that. If we were good at school, you can say you have listened to many answers, okay, about this. Good, bad, normal, academic. Yes? I repeat the question one more time for you. Were you good at school? Please answer me. Thank you. So it's very kind of you. What? Okay, go. So, going on with this session, we're going to see to practice about different yes no questions with where, with was and where. For example, number 1, look at the picture and repeat it to me. Were you busy yesterday? Yes, I was. 2. Look at the picture. Was it hot yesterday? No, it wasn't. 3. Was Mary funny? Yes, she was. Then here, look at the picture. Were Tom and Tim happy? No, they weren't. 5. Look at the picture. Was I rude yesterday? Yes, you were. 6. Were you and Mike clean? No, we weren't. 7. Was John late for work? Yes, he was. 8. Was I crazy? No, you weren't. Next. Was Steve rich? No, he wasn't. Next. Were you comfortable last night? No, I wasn't. Next. Were you and Jill happy? Yes, we were. After practicing this in your homes, I'll give you time to practice this. If it is necessary, we can stop the video and start reviewing this part of the exercise. Okay. Now go on. Look at this table, and now we're going to see the use of different question words with was and where. For example, repeat it to me. Who? What? When? Where? Why? How? One more time, please. Who? What? When? Where? Why? How? And now we establish a sequence. You can work with the different example we have here. Let's see number 1. For example, repeat it to me and practice. Where was she today? Two. How were the apples? Were they delicious? 3. Why were the children sad? 4. What was your last name before marriage? Next. What were their favorite books as children? Next. Where were they last week? How was the weather during your holiday? And finally, who was John F. Kennedy? Practice these questions at home as many times for getting a better pronunciation. To exercise your pronunciation, you repeat these questions once and again, once and again, and once and again. Okay? So now, please, we go to the last example. The last example is, who was John F. Kennedy? And then watching these pictures from the beginning, ask and answer questions about them. Do you remember them? This is John Kennedy, right? And then you start making questions about them. John Kennedy, about all the people that we can find here. So the question is this: who was John F. Kennedy? Do you remember them? Yeah, as we have them here, we're going to practice again. Look at this. For example, question 1. The picture of John F. Kennedy. What do you think is the question? Who was John F. Kennedy? And then you answer according to your knowledge about this personality. I can help you. John F. Kennedy was an American president. So that's why the question and the answer of this number 1 exercise is, he was an American president. Now you continue with the rest. Continue with the rest, please. Continue with number 2 through number 6. Yes, please start. Okay, then we start doing the feedback. For example, number 1, repeat after me. Who was John F. Kennedy? He was an American president. Number 2. Who was Mao Zedong? He was a Chinese president. Number 3. Who were the Beatles? They were British singers. 4. Who was John Paul II? He was a Polish Pope. 5. Who was Chabuca Granda? She was a Peruvian composer. 6. Who was Gabriel Garcia Marquez? He was a Colombian writer. Well, now practice again questions and answers with your partners through the chat line of Canvas. Please start practicing with them. So now we have a set of questions for your evaluations. Now please, we are going to repeat the questions and then you are going to give your answers through the chat line of Canvas. Please repeat after me. Where were you yesterday? Who was with you? Was your mother at home? Was she happy? Was your father at home too? Were you and your friend happy yesterday? Who was your teacher in primary school? Where was your school? Who were your favorite friends at secondary school? Now that you have the set of 10 questions, please answer them in the corresponding time and then send me your answers, please. Okay, now that you have finished your answer, please, we are going to finish the class by asking you some metacognitive questions for you to be answered according to the lesson you have studied. Number 1. What was this session about? Okay, good. Yeah. It was about the past form of the verb be, and in the form of questions and answers. And we talk about yes no questions and WH questions. Very good. And now tell me, were the question forms difficult? So is it difficult to make questions and then give answers? Now, were you happy or sad with the lesson? What was difficult for you and what was easy for you? What was complicated? What was normal? Or maybe what other thing you would like to know about it? You can tell us. Thank you very much for your attention. This is your lesson 2. Bye bye. See you on lesson 3.